Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to show number 209 with yours truly, the hippie pastor. That would be me. I'm so happy to be able to share God's word with you with the true interpretation, courtesy of the hippie pastor. Okay, as you may have read in the title of this show, it is right, I'm truthful. Jesus Christ did not ascend on a cloud like Peter Pan into heaven. After he rose from the dead, they say he wandered like 40 days around there, and then they took him to a mountain, and a cloud came, and he went rising and rising and rising and rising and levitating until he disappeared into the sky. And when the Roman soldiers came looking for them because there was gossip and word that he was walking around, the apostles assured them that they were eyewitnesses of him ascending on a cloud into heaven, so they could just, destroy the files and, the case closed. Case closed. Eyewitnesses here. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes, it astounds me. It doesn't stop astounding me how so many people, Christians, they worship Jesus Christ on the cross. They worship the cross. They worship Jesus Christ, etc. All right? But they don't even know what the hell he said. They don't really study his words. They don't really dissect the four Gospels like yours truly. Okay? They worship this image of Jesus Christ that they have in their mind, and that's that. That's enough for them. They don't need to know what he said. And I'm telling you right now, it kind of bothers me that a high percentage of fundamentalist Orthodox evangelical Christians worship the Apostle Paul. They really study his words. They don't like the words of Jesus because the basis of the words of Jesus is mercy and love. Whereas the basis of the Apostle Paul is condemnation, fear, and hellfire. Okay? I said it. And judgmental. And exclusiveness, just like the Pharisees, the Jewish Judaism was. There we go with the Judeo-Christian religion. Culture, the Judeo-Christian culture. Jesus Christ was inclusive. That's why they killed him, because he was saying that all peoples are God's chosen, not just Israel. They didn't like that. And the Christians follow the same thing like Israel. They're the only ones with the true religion. They're the only chosen ones. If you don't belong to their religions and their temples, you're going to hell forever in flames. How horrible. But Jesus brought a message of love. Make love and not war. Okay, ladies and gents, let's get running. One thing that really arouses curiosity in me is how the many people they believe Jesus a special girl, because Jesus was definitely a womanizer. He had a lot of women around him, not just all these guys. And Mary Magdalene. They talk about Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene was a special one. Mary Magdalene was a madame, okay? A madame, all right? She ran a house of prostitution, okay? And therefore she was wealthy, She had a lot of money, and she was one of Jesus' financial supporters because he had cast 7 demons out of her, okay? That must have taken a lot of time to do that. But she was not his special babe, okay? His rib, hey baby. It was Mary, I'll get right to the point. It was Mary, the sister of Lazarus and of Martha, okay? They lived in a town called Bethany. Mary, the sister, is not the same as Mary Magdalene. Mary, the sister of Martha and of Lazarus, was the one that massaged and kisses his feet every time when he was in gatherings. And she was a woman of bad reputation. Maybe she even worked for Mary Magdalene. Maybe she was one of her, hookers. I don't know, but she had a bad reputation in the town. That's why the Pharisees condemned Jesus, because they said if he knew what kind of woman this was, he wouldn't allow her to massage and kiss his feet. But Jesus defended her, right? And there was a great love. And so there was a great love between Jesus and those 3 people. Lazarus, Jesus really loved Lazarus. He was a deep, deep friend. And Martha and Mary. And Jesus would go to their house occasionally, a lot. Okay? They lived, not a stone throws away, but a little further than one stone throws away. They lived from Jerusalem, okay, you go to the Mount of Olives, which is one of Jesus' favorite hangouts, and then from there you would get to Bethany. Okay. Now, Jesus had the power to raise from the dead. He had raised several people from the dead, and after he raised, like the young damsel, and after he raised people from the dead, even Lazarus, he would command the people to give them to eat. Give them to eat. All right, they rose from the dead. So Jesus rose himself from the dead, right? Not in spirit. It wasn't a ghost. It was in his physical body, his same physical body, which was no longer present in the burial site. Weird that they didn't break his legs like the other two guys that were crucified. Okay, I always thought that was kind of curious. And I always thought it was curious that one of his friends, I think the guy, or some guy, rich friend, asked Pilate if he could take the body, and he was allowed to, remove the body and all this stuff for preparation or who knows what. Okay, so when Jesus raised from the dead, why was he like in hiding? He was like a fugitive, in hiding. He would once they saw him and they supposed him to be the gardener, and then eventually they realized it was Jesus. But he was in hiding. He was low key. I mean, if he could fly like Peter Pan in the Holy Ascension, how come he didn't go flying around Jerusalem? Hey, you can't touch me. You can't touch me. You can't touch me. I can fly. Okay. So he spent 40 days hanging around and he ate. He ate food and he cooked. He had to cook at a barbecue by the beach with the disciples. And they ate fish. And he ate too. Just like the people who rose from the dead, he was hungry. Okay. Now, because we're out of time, I'm just getting right to the points here. And what happened was that, so then Jesus, they had a walkabout with a couple of his disciples, and they went to Bethany. Near Bethany. They went to the Mount, I believe it was the Mount of Olives, right? Which is near Bethany. And there, Jesus was, if I'm not mistaken, carried into heaven, right? Carried into heaven by a cloud. Okay. That was the likely story. My theory is that he went to Bethany to rescue, to pick up Mary, right? I mean, he was wounded. He was in pain, man, but he rose from the dead. He was a brave man. He was a strong man. He picked up Mary, and they went into exile, and they lived a happy-go-lucky life, having children and grandchildren. Where did he go into exile? Possibilities. Greece, Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Egypt. There's several possibilities. And they lived happily ever after, having fulfilled his mission. This doesn't take away from his holy mission that he gave his life for our salvation. He finished his job, and he deserved he earned it. He earned a well-deserved furlough, vacation. And to enjoy life a little bit. Who knows what they did in the exile? Maybe he opened up a surf shop. I know he was fond of surfing. Or maybe they opened up a wine. Jesus is wine and spirits. You could turn water into wine. Or maybe Mary, Mary, the sister of Lazarus and of Martha, maybe she opened a massage parlor. They had all these talents, right? Okay, let us read here. This is Luke chapter 1, verses 9 through 12. Having said that, blah, 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 he was received on high by a cloud. Right? And, that's what Luke, Acts, the book of Acts, chapter 9, it says there that they saw him, they were eyewitnesses, and they saw him elevating himself into a cloud. How beautiful. What a beautiful story. And there's a lot of verses, I don't have time to read them now, but if you can remember this, Luke chapter 24, verses 50 and 51. Remember, Mark chapter 16, verse 19. Matthew chapter 28, verse 16. Look it up for yourselves. And remember what I'm telling you. There's your proof. I love you. I love Jesus too. He's a good man. Thank you.